We're back. It's getting a little bit colder in the mornings.
Yeah, for sure
Um,
here.
Definitely there. Like when I say cold, I'm like it's like 57.
Yeah, I think it's like 38 today.
Woo, that's cold. Yeah,
Yes.
30. But you experienced the California cold weather. You
Yeah.
even said, "Oh, yeah, it does feel colder than what it sounds, right?"
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. It like
like I think I
it
was telling
chills
you,
you.
oh, it's like what was that?
The California cold, it chills you.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, but during the day, yesterday was like 85 or something like.
Gets hot out there. I heard the
Very,
winds are really
very dry.
blowing.
And the wind is picking up as well.
Yeah, it's picking up, right?
Yep.
I hear it's
Santa Ana winds
blowing rocks all over the roads and stuff.
cleans up the surf though.
Yeah, okay, okay. All right, so today we want to talk about SecuPoint, right?
Q point, yeah.
That's what we're calling it. So we
That's what
have
we're calling it.
we have a new VPN client. So yeah, so now in the Genius Cloud, you can either select IPsec or SecuPoint, right, which uses the Genius client. Let me share my screen for a second here. There we go. So you still have the IPsec options there, right? That you can use any
Yep.
VPN client.
Yeah, and you're
Um,
using what Windows are
so
you
you
where
can
are
use
you using it?
the ShreWsoft client with
Yep.
IPsec with Windows, or any of the iOS devices will work natively with this with IPsec, right?
Right, yep.
For client VPN. And now EnGenius has this SecuPoint uh, client that will also work with the gateway. You just have to select it. You have to enable
Yep.
it basically.
That's right. It just I think just went live a couple days ago.
And what we want to show is a couple things here. So first you need to download the client. It's in the iOS store. There's an Android version too?
Yeah. Let me see. So the yeah, the Windows, Android, iOS
Okay.
as well. Mac, not it's coming out. It's not out yet.
And there it's called SECU point.
Yeah.
SECU point. That's how you find the app. It's not Secure Point. It's something
Yeah.
else. Because
It's not security point, it's not
it's
secure point
it's
because
SECU point.
those names were taken.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Q point is the VPN client software.
And
So you can either go to ingeniustech.com/SecuPoint, and that will take you to a landing page, and you can find the software there.
you can download the Windows and all. It has all the links there.
Yeah.
Okay, so and there's also a download link at the bottom of this page. I'll show in a minute. But so to enable the SecuPoint, first of all, if you're just logging in the Genius Cloud, refresh your browser because you may not see that option in there unless you do a refresh, since it's new.
Yeah.
And then you basically just have to enable it under Configure Gateway Client VPN. Just enable it, and
Yep.
then choose either TCP or UDP. You can leave the port alone, but you do have to choose a VPN client subnet. So this is the network that it'll basically bring the VPN clients onto, right?
That's
So
right. Yep.
so you have to
Yep.
define a new network. Has to be different than your LAN, obviously, or any VLANs that you have defined.
Right. Exactly.
Um, and then you have to use the slash 24 subnet option on there too, or whatever subnet you want to use. And then you would choose leave it on Google Public DNS, but here's the interesting option here. So
And this is something new that we added. We wanted to make sure we had before we released the VPN software. So
right. So right now I have it to only send traffic to ESG LAN through VPN. So what that means is it will only send traffic that's bound for your LAN through the VPN. Everything else like Facebook, Netflix, whatever will go just over the regular internet, right?
that's right. Yep.
So that is probably that's probably what a lot of users will want to do on unless it's some corporate situation where they want to filter all the traffic, see where all the
Yeah.
see what they're doing on their laptop, right?
Yeah, maybe the corporation is providing like the internet service to like a remote worker. They
Yeah.
have two ISPs coming in, and the corporate provides that.
Yeah.
They would choose send all client traffic through the VPN because
Right.
anything that person is doing from the remote location, it's all work related.
Right.
Whereas in some cases, or actually most cases, you may have a remote worker that is doing work, but also doing private, personal things, right?
Right. Right. So that would probably be if it's a personal device like an iPhone or whatever. You don't want all that traffic going through your VPN if it's their iPhone, right? Like you want them using their
But
own.
if you're using that iPhone to go into the corporate network, you want it to go across that VPN.
Exactly. So then you would select only send traffic to ESG LAN through VPN. So that we were just talking about it does make sense. Only send traffic to ESG LAN through VPN. So so that means all traffic is going to go. I'm sorry. That's all traffic bound for your LAN is going to go through the VPN. Everything else will go through your internet connection as normal.
That's right. And that's what you have it set to, right?
That's what I have it set to. Yeah. So that for me, I would only use the VPN to. Well, here's the thing. Like it depends what you want to use it for. Like I would use it for just so I can access my local network. But if I wanted to secure all my traffic, like I wanted everything, I didn't trust. Let's say I was in, a coffee shop or whatever, using their Wi-Fi, and I didn't trust their network. Then I would want to send all my traffic, traffic, through the VPN, right?
Very true. Yeah. Yep.
So there's two different use cases. One, you'd use the VPN to access your local network, and obviously you want all that stuff to be secure. You don't want to be able to sniff that no matter where you are. But then if you're out in public and using a public Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever, and you want all your traffic to go through, so then everything's encrypted, right?
Yep.
End to end, basically.
Yep, that's right.
So for now, I'm going to set mine to only send traffic to ESG through LAN through VPN. We'll see how that works, and then you'll see a different IP address also, right? If we look at, you can go ahead and connect. Let's look at that. Clients.
You want me to connect? Is
Yeah,
what you're
you
saying?
can connect. I just wanted to show you were connected, so I still see that your remote.
I can connect again.
Yeah, it'll take a minute to refresh anyway, but I'm just showing that the remote IP for my connection is my LAN IP.
I'm connected, just so you know.
Okay. It'll probably take a minute to
refresh.
Yeah. So yeah, basically mine's showing my LAN IP, yours showing your WAN IP, and then you can see here this is the VPN network, client network that we defined, right? So it brought me in as 2 and you in as 3, and then you were able to access my local devices like the gateway itself, right? You can now that you're in, you could access the local gateway IP address.
That's right. Yeah, I can. So my IP address on my network here is, my LAN network located in California. My VP connection IP address is it's the 10 dot whatever you set it to 10.0.2.x.
Right.
So that's my VP connection. So if I go to if I go to 10.0.2.1 or 10.0.0.1, I can reach your gateway.
Right. So it's basically like just a sub interface. The VPN LAN is like a sub interface. So on the ESG itself, right? So.
Yep.
If you go to 10.0.2.1, it just brings you back to the gateway. You already, you'd have to log in with local credentials.
Right.
So it's working good. So anything else you wanted to say about it?
Yeah. So you definitely want to go to configure users and then ESG VPN users, and you want to add those.
Yeah.
You want to add those users there, right?
Yep.
And you'll see that Jeff has one and I have one within his network. So Jeff created one for me, and that allows me to VPN to that gateway and to be able to see that information. But you have to add the user there. The other thing I'd like to say is every gateway comes with 2 connections. So you can have 2 VPN connections on a gateway. So that comes as free. There will be a license tied to anything beyond that. But it's a very flexible kind of licensing. So if I buy a license, I can have multiple devices. As a user, I can have multiple devices on that same license using VPN.
Right, and you can add as many, with the free account, you can add as many users as you want, but there's only 2 free connections. So like,
Exactly.
I could have my phone connected, Brian could have his phone connected, but then if I wanted to connect my laptop, you'd have to disconnect, right? That's how it works. But you could have 10 users in there, right? But only two active connections.
That's right. Yep.
For free. So it allows you to test it, and maybe for home users, that's enough. Anyway.
Yeah, that's plenty. I mean, typically you're gonna have 1, maybe 2.
Yeah. So that's it, and then we'll have the license available, and it's going to be per user, right? Like per
user license. So
how does it work? How does the license work? Let me see.
So all the IT administrator has to do is, I have 10 employees, I need 10 licenses.
Okay.
That's it. So like I said, each license, you can kind of stretch that a little bit, but each license can have multiple devices on, you can use multiple devices with that same license and be able to connect.
Oh, gotcha. So that license is 10 connections is what you're saying. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you have 100 users, you may only need to buy 50 licenses.
Right, exactly.
Because not all of them are, unless they are all remote working all the time.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Well, cool. So it's nice that we finally have,
another option.
Another option, right? So it's a secure client that EnGenius is updating, and so we don't have to worry about some third party updating the client, right, to make it secure.
Yeah. Yeah. The gateway will continuously, it will make sure that the clients are updated. So we'll push updates.
Oh, nice.
So if there's a change, and so we also implemented EnGenius DDNS too as well.
Okay.
So that can be implemented.
And you need that so that you'll know your gateway's IP address, basically.
Right. Yeah. If that IP address changes, right, it won't matter because you're basing it around the DDNS, right?
Oh, nice. And is that the DDNS? Is that like a free service, or is it?
That is a free service.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll have to try that. That's good to have. I'm using one on my Synology. Their free DNS. That's how I'm connecting.
Yeah. So that is basically under configure gateway interface. Interfaces on the WAN side, and you scroll to the bottom, and you'll see DDNS enable, which you already have, right?
Oh yeah. Mine wasn't enabled though. I'll show that real quick. So yeah, there's the DDNS configuration.
And then at the top, you'll see EnGenius DDNS. And by default, we'll set it to that moving forward, but you are able to, if you have a preference, then you can change it to that preference if you want. Anybody that has that set already doesn't have to worry about it. Anybody new, it's going to default to EnGenius DDNS.
Oh, but so the provider, like, I'm going to hit enable real quick here. Oh, I got you. So that you don't have to use no IP. All these, I'm showing the list of of providers in here. You can't see the drop now. I just switched it to EnGenius. So basically, you have a list of providers you can use for DDNS, but most of these charge for the service. You have to have an account with them. Now, the EnGenius DDNS is free, so we can just enable that and use that. So that's great. Cool.
Yep. Yeah.
All right,
yeah, a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline, but yeah, this is a huge update for the gateway and cloud. It's going to make remote, implementing VPN clients or having client VPNs are pretty easy.
Yeah, for sure.
setup.
For sure. It's going to make it way easier setup. And now